Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And we're going to have a chat about Dan Ashworth. Yes, of all people. But before we get into the show, if you do like what you see, please do smash that like. It does help the channel up the search. So please do give it a like. And it means new viewers find the channel more easy. And if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come and be part of this great community we have here. And also by hitting that bell notification, that tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. If you want to become a member, it's 99p a month. You can do that by clicking the join button. And also, if you want to make a donation, you can do that in the chat by clicking on the dollar sign as well. So the news, probably the worst kept secret in football, we all knew was going to happen. And that was, we knew that Dan Ashworth eventually told Newcastle United that he wanted to leave. This come out a day after our draw against Bournemouth when he was sitting in the director's box. So look, I'm going to get to some comments first, and then we'll speak about it all and see what unfolds and see what's what from there. Andrew, hi mate, hope you're well. Mighty Max says, evening Tony and Andrew, hope everyone is well. Yeah, absolutely mate, thank you. Mighty Max says, hope you enjoyed your birthday, Tony. Doing great for 25. Thanks, Mighty Mag. Hey, wish I was 25, mate. I tell you, I feel like 25 though. That's the thing. So you know. Evening, Tony and everyone. Good evening to you, Tony. Derek, evening all. Evening, Derek. Hope you're well, my friend. Lawrence says, evening everyone, glad we put Ashworth on gardening leave and won a big fee for him. Absolutely, Lawrence. Absolutely, mate. And, we'll get into talking about Dan Ashworth, but we've got every right to ask for a fee, and that is the thing, and that's what gets me. You know, we've got every right in asking. So, as I say, we will get into more of this in a moment, and other rumours that are going around as well. So there's a few going around at the moment. Right, lost me. My comments just went off there. There we go. Derek's, I reckon, 20 million at least, and he's going nowhere. Yeah, absolutely, Derek. We've got to take Manu to the cleaners on this one. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Julie. Hope you're well. Evening, peeps. Tony's doing his makeup. No, not quite, mate. 25 must have had the hardest Peter on the street. Cheers, Derek. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much for that. This time next week I'll be abroad. Why aye. Ian says, evening Tony, hope you're well. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, mate. Had a nice day yesterday for my birthday. Well, apart from being at work, but yeah, had a nice evening for my birthday. Shame I couldn't win in me darts. Evening Tony and all in the chat. Good evening, Mary. Hope you're well. Just everybody chatting to each other there. Teddy Bear's top of the Scottish Premier League. Evening also says, yeah, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. You look like Hullet with that orange top on. Oh, cheers, mate. Evening all. Good evening, Pete. Hope you're well, I'm afraid. Pete's in the chat as well. Ashworth's turned into a norm. Evening, everyone, says Mad Mac. Good evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Hi, Tommy. Hope you had a good birthday, says Rolly. Yeah, not bad, mate. Well, obviously, been at work and things like that. But yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all. And my birthday is for my birthday celebrations will be next week when I'm away for 3 days in Albania. So, looking forward to that. Happy birthday, Tony. Thanks, Julie. Sorry, I got on your live news show on Sunday. Tony was out buying the TV after I put my foot through it after the Rangers scored in their game, lol. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, unlucky, mate. Unlucky. Yeah, says, happy birthday, Tony. You got the striptogram you wanted. Nah, mate, I don't. Nah, not at all. Justin says, Tony, it's simple as we see. Newcastle looking ahead abroad and at home for a new DOF. Emanalo almost got the job last time. I think he's the man just to bring in for the youth and transfers. Yeah, we're going to have a look at who's being linked with the club. I'm worried about him going, knowing our targets and future plans. Do you know what it is, Si? If our future and target plans were billing into Kelly, that's fine. He can take them to Man United with him. Tristan says Ashworth knows how we run. Glad they blocked him from the computer system so he can't take the scouting fails to Man U. Yeah, good point. And give you a few pointers on darts, Tony. Very funny, Ian. I like the punchline. Rolly's in the chat. Billy the Fish says, do you think the Tonali signing could have caused a lack of confidence in Ashworth from the board for not doing due diligence properly, which had led to him wanting to leave? Good point, it's a good point. But again, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. We don't know what's going on here. But look, we'll have a good real look into this in a minute. Happy birthday, mate! Thank you. Evening, Tony says Lee, and hope you all had a good birthday yesterday. Ashworth is now the Lomar man. Yeah, absolutely. Ashworth might be you may see him on future episodes of Alan Titchmarsh Love Your Garden, so you never know. David, I wonder if Man U will like it if Piff refused to buy another of their overpaid players. That would be sweet justice for upsetting the Piff's apple cart. Absolutely, David. Very good point, mate. Alan says, good evening, Tony and chat. Don't you be smuggling any Albanians back? No, I won't be smuggling anybody back. Not at all. I'm more worried about Ashworth contacting our players. He could turn heads with offers of big wages, like Isak and Botman being offered mega money. I wouldn't have thought so, Pierre. I wouldn't think that would happen. There's no way our owners will sell to Man United. Not a chance. I think Tonali Gate has had a lot to do with it. Yeah, maybe does. Julia, I think so as well. Tristan says a guy from Bournemouth I don't want, and I want to prove a man like Edwards, Emanalo, Maldini, anyone who's found talent. Bournemouth hasn't done anything to stand out. Well, it's interesting you say that because Richard Hughes, I had a Bournemouth fan on last week, Craig, who done the preview, and he said Liverpool are actually wanting the Bournemouth director of football, Richard Hughes, because what they're thinking is if he goes there, he might bring Areola with him, the manager as well, so who knows. David says, last moment as Man U are about to sign Ashworth for 20 million, we have a rethink 130, can you afford it? Yeah. Is this a spin-off with Tony from Benidorm, Tony and McGarvey and Halaby? Ashworth could be in the Chelsea Flower Show. Yeah, he could be, absolutely. Tony's the whole point of a director of football is there, so man can be there to help the club run transfers in case Howe is sacked, and we don't need him being his friend. That's true. Alan says, pity about Ashworth. Once interest was known, think it was inevitable. It was, wasn't it? Absolutely. Hi, Tony. Hi to you, mate. Hope you're well. And David says, happy birthday, Tony. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. It was yesterday my birthday, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, first of all, the man we're talking about at the moment, the most talked man in football at the moment is Dan Ashworth, yes. I've seen a lot of Brighton fans piping up saying, well, this is exactly what he done to Brighton. As soon as we came in, he jumped ship. And you know what? Talking about Brighton, they have now put their director of football on garden leave because it's interest from Chelsea. So, So Dan Ashworth decided on Sunday to tell Newcastle United that he wanted to go and join the dark side, Manchester United. Very disappointing that he's done this, as he's only been with us a short while. And with doing that, he's immediately been placed on gardening leave. So Dan Ashworth has plenty of time to do the lawn, get his lawnmower out and get cutting the grass. Also, he can go out there and look after his flower display as well. So, he's got plenty to do in the garden. So I'm sure he can trim his daffodils and, cut his lawn, whatever. He's got plenty of time on his hands at this moment in time. Now, the reports are saying he can be on gardening leave till 2026. talks are that Man United are refusing to pay £20 million for him. But at the end of the day, if our compensation is saying they want Man United to pay out his contract, then they have to pay that sort of money. We saw a deluded Man United fan who was on YouTube, and she put a video on Twitter. Everybody's seen it, I think, by now. And to be honest with you, I just looked at it and I just thought, what is she going on about? Why are Newcastle so upset at losing Ashworth? Well, there's a point to why we're upset at losing Ashworth, because not upset as in like majorly upset. We're more annoyed the way he's done it. We've seen a lot of stuff online. He's a snake, he's a rat, all this online, because look, at the end of the day, he came in to be part of this project and he knew what this project's long term was. But as soon as his mates has gone and bought a proportion of Man United, he's now going to jump ship. Now, let's think back. These Man United fans who are all going on saying, why are we crying, or why are we wanting so much money for Ashworth? Let's think back a couple of years ago when we were in the relegation zone and we tried to get Jesse Lingard in the January. What did Man United quote us? They wanted a £5 million loan fee plus a £15 million I was a £12 million survival bonus. So in other words, if we'd stayed up, we would have had to pay Man United £17 million to loan Lingard for the few months. Wasn't happening. And they tried to screw us. So why can't we screw Man United? If they want desperate Dan that much, then they need to come and get him. And they need to pay the money. Show the money. If you don't want to pay for him, don't bother then. Go elsewhere. Thing is, if this goes tits up, basically, if this doesn't go through, there's no way back for Dan Ashworth at Newcastle United. That's for sure. There's no way back for him now, because there's no way that the club would trust having him back, because he could come back and say exactly the same, I want to move on again. So, if it doesn't happen for him, then he'll be sitting at home for the next couple of years. Yes, he'll be getting paid, but he won't be going anywhere. That's for sure. So, I hope he realises what he's done. But is there a better director of football out there? Yes, there is better out there. And I'm sure we will look more into them in a moment. But I'm going to grab some comments, see what people are saying. But on the Dan Ashworth situation, I think it's disgusting why he wants to go. Considering he wants to go to a rival, like that girl said, oh, we're not friends when Newcastle were a competitor. Yes, of course you're a competitor, because you're direct competition with us. I'm just hoping he hasn't got too much to take back if he goes to Man United. But the thing is, though, what's to say he goes to Man United and he has a couple of years there, and then say, for instance, Barcelona say, oh, Dan Ashworth, come and join us. We'll pay you X amount of money. His eyes might light up and the pound signs might be spinning around his head, and he may think, thanks, Man United, I want to leave. I want to go to Barcelona. So it looks like the man just chases money. There's no loyalty from him. And I think one Brighton fan put it down to, they said, it's like seeing another Michael Owen. And you know what? I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, but he's not. The thing with Dan Ashworth is, we knew he wanted to go. It was just a matter of when. And then Darren Neal's saying, oh, well, we thank Dan for these efforts. What efforts? What's he done? What's he actually done? Because I look and I think, I don't see a lot that he's done at the club that's like made me think, well, losing Dan Ashworth's a huge blow. I don't think it is a huge blow. We heard Eddie Howe. He wasn't seemed to be too bothered about if Dan Ashworth was leaving or not. So has there been some falling out between maybe him and Eddie Howe? Who knows? We don't know. That's the thing. It just seems rather strange, and there's something not right. But for him to just want to leave like that, you don't just leave somewhere overnight and just say I'm going. There's got to be a reason why you're going. Obviously, the main reason Dan Ashworth's going is because he's being shown the money, and he's thinking the money. Just as he did when he left Brighton to come to Newcastle. So, and Brighton fans haven't got nice things to say about Dan Ashworth. Not whatsoever. Right, let's just jump into some comments because the comments are flying in. And I want to say thank you to Tony Ross. He's gifted 5 black and white memberships. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. That's very kind of you. And I will tell you who those members are who's kindly got a membership when it actually comes on my screen. So it does take a bit of time with these comments on the screen. I'll come back to that in just one moment. Ashworth might be also working in the night garden. Yeah, he could well be, Mary, couldn't he? Ashworth brought Southgate to England. He ain't that good then, is he? Well, yeah, exactly, Via. He says, at the end of the day, you can't hold anyone back. It's like a player leaving. If you try and stop them, the heart's not in it. Good riddance. Absolutely, Holly. His heart's not in it. If his heart's not there, then good riddance to him. Absolutely. Too much hype over him. Yeah, definitely, Tony Ross. David says Gollum is pruning cabbages. Yeah, he's probably got Steve Bruce growing in his garden. Coffee says somehow Man U fans are saying we're hypocrites that we've plundered Brighton for Ashworth. Honestly, the way the Man U fans are coming out at the minute is absolutely ridiculous. You think they would sign in Lionel Messi the way they're going on, you think they're signing a major player from us. And it's like, it's embarrassing the way some of these Man United fans are actually going on. They live in this moment as if they've done something, as if they're doing something great. So I'll let them get on with it. I'll just laugh at them. Tristan says, what do you want, Tony? A director of football who's Eddie's mate or a proven talent finder to make the club get better results on the field and to get Europe. So Edwards and Eminalo are the type we need. Yes, Tristan, I see where you come from on that comment. Look, we do need a director of football, and that does make these decisions, and there's a talent finder. And according to reports last week, we have spoken to an elite director of football, so that would sort of probably rule the Bournemouth one out. Although we have distanced ourselves from him as well. So it could be Edwards, it could be Eminalo, who knows? So funny, then Mackham scumbag sacked Beale. Yes, that was hilarious. Ian Beale got sacked, didn't he? That didn't last long, did it? And yeah, it's it just made everybody's day that the Mackhams just are the gift that keeps on giving, aren't they? One thing I do want to say though is, look, let's put rivalries aside here, because he's not the Mackham manager no more, but he's now the Birmingham City manager. It's Tony Mowbray. Let's just say get well soon, Tony Mowbray, because obviously we know he's had to leave his Birmingham role for 6 to 8 weeks while he gets some treatment. So all we want to say is get well soon to Tony Mowbray. Rivalries aside, whether he's a Sunderland manager or not, but rivalries aside, just get well soon as well. Hope he's not got a big garden. We'll have plenty of gardens to do. Was waiting for that to happen. Never rated him. Alan says, for me, gardening leavers bold. Nothing to stop him giving his recommendations on PC from his garden. Absolutely. By the way, we did the same with Freddie Fletcher from Rangers. Yes, we did. Yeah, under Sir John Hall. I remember that. He was all right, though, Freddie Fletcher, wasn't he, to be fair? Dan Ashworth's garden needs manure. No wonder he's joining them. Yeah, coffee, absolutely. Sure, we can drop a few ton of that off. Lee says 20 million plus add-on fees. Ashworth end up for the big toxic club Man U. Hope it backfires on them. Teach him a lesson. It's bound to come back and bite you in the backside because one day, all these, keep going to different clubs. One day it'll just come back and backfire. Ronald, hi mate, hope you're well. He says we can tell Man U to F off as we don't care having to pay him for doing now. We are not rolling over for anyone. No, absolutely not. We don't roll over for anybody now. Tony Ince, you're on gardening leave. You're sacked from your duties. Yeah, once you're on gardening leave, yeah, absolutely. Someone explain to me how a club 1.2 million in debt are still in a position to be able to spend this FFP is a joke. Do you know what? That's a very good point, Billy. And it is. It is an absolute joke, And then you're looking at teams like Everton and Forest who are in trouble, Kieran Maguire says Forest spent just a little bit over because they had a less... They couldn't have the £105 million because of when they came into the Premier League. This is the problem. When teams are coming up from the Championship, they've got to be careful what they're spending because they could end up like Forest are. And it's disgusting. So, it's not competitive. It's anti-competitive. Rory says, if Man U want Dan, show us the money. Absolutely, Rory. Or as Harry Enfield says, loads of money. Andrew says, it sure is. Sick to the gills of it. Oh, God, Andrew, I like the way you put that. That's brilliant, that the way you've put that one there, Andrew. So people who got membership courtesy of Tony Ross is Duncan Disorderly, Paulie Mag, Mark Donny Dawson, Joe Maguire, and Joshua Diaz as well. So thank you very much again for gifting those memberships. Ian says, I'm not bothered about him leaving. Never really done a great deal in the short time he was here. You're welcome. Thank you, mate. Tristan says, Tony, time to clear the fans. A new director of football will take Eddie's power when it comes to science. And if Eminalo, he will get full power because he's working for PIF, trusted. Yeah, because he currently works in the Saudi League, doesn't he? And he's friends with Yasser, so we should keep him with Alan Titchmarsh till after the summer window. Yeah, exactly. You can go on Alan Titchmarsh and tell him how he prunes his roses and how he deheads his flowers. Tony, why should there be loyalty in football? Or if someone offers anyone a bigger salary, you're going to go simple. Who wouldn't? That is true. There is no loyalty in football. Although there is the odd few who are loyal in football. And there's not many of them around. You look at the likes of Mark Noble, He spent his whole career at West Ham. And then he's gone on to be a director of football. It's, yeah. But yeah, there's not many people who are loyal in football. And that is the thing nowadays. But I just think the way he's done it, I just think it's just, it's not giving our project a chance. Man United generates so much money. The current squad costs 1.3 billion and they're able to spend again. Can't really blame Ashworth for going there as friends with Jim Ratcliffe. Absolutely. Involves in Lewis Hall transfer. Eddie doesn't play him. Yeah, exactly that. Tony Wise Ashworth at the match on Saturday knew he was leaving. It would be the last place I'd be if I knew I was leaving. Well, yeah, he's probably just kept it to himself and he just, yeah, it just stinks, doesn't it? Absolutely stinks. Screw Ashworth, we're getting the mighty win as the new director of football. We'll have Dan Burn in every position before we know it. Oh, God, Derek's going to come back with something, I think. Brighton have gotten better since Ashworth left, so fingers crossed, absolutely. What will Dan Titchmarsh do if Man U don't come in for him? Well, if Man U pull out and go elsewhere, he's stuffed now, isn't he? Because he won't. There's no way back to Newcastle United for him, that's for sure. Definitely no way back for him. Not at all. So it's one of them. We'll just have to wait and see what happens on that score. But yeah. Julie says, I have overgrown bush and made back garden. You can do that if you want, so I'm sure you can do. Ashworth is going like your missus leaving you for a richer, more handsome and more successful geezer. Suddenly she's a minger. God, Derek. Good way of putting it, I suppose. Beth on the United stand. Newcastle were throwing their toys out their pram. Regards to Ashworth. Does she expect us just to bend over, lol? Exactly, David. I couldn't believe this when she says we're throwing my toys out the pram. No, we're asking for the money that we think he's worth. The money that Newcastle want. So no, we're not throwing my toys out the pram. He's under contract, Eric, and we have to stand firm and let Man U pay for the little prick. Cry baby, says Laffy Bangs. Guys, if you can give the channel a like, that'd be great. If you like this stream, please give it a like. It does help the channel. And also, because I've got 52 watching, so please do smash that like. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Be part of this great community we have here as well. Tristan says, here's where Sky and Another Lie, they call him the top man in this country, but Michael Edwards holds the title. He's done more than any Englishman in the game, and he's made a squad who's won everything. Yes, he has. And yeah, absolutely. Lots of pricks available for Ashworth then, says Mary. Man, you think we're going to just roll over? Why couldn't they just go for that one that was out of a job? Well, that's it. Copy says Goldbridge needs Ashworth on his show because he's always advertises how to mow the grass and trim the lawns. There you go. Derek says, embarrassing the way we are going on. We need to be bigger than that. The Manx are pissing themselves at our outrage. Yeah, they are, Derek. I agree they are. But then you can see, you've got to look at, you can see the other side of it. Why our fans are seething, you know. We are seething because of the fact, it's the way he's done it. And, you know, it's not, you know, if it was a different club he'd went to, maybe it might have sweetened the blow. But when it's Man United, the club we hate the most, the bitter rivals, that's where it gets, you know, that's where it angers people even more. How would Man United feel if their director of football went to Liverpool, you know? Or if they got a director of football in from Liverpool, would they accept that? I don't think they'd be very happy. We all know some Man U fans and walk backwards coming forwards. They shouldn't have sacked Mowbray, they shouldn't have. Well said, Tony. Thanks very much, Ian. City still 0-0. Wow. As Biff Tonnen said, Back to the Future, I hate Man U. Mowbray is a Borough legend, he is, yeah. It's nice to see Roy Hodgson's finally stepped down. He deserves a good day off and enjoys retirement. Good send off. Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's out of hospital apparently and doing well. And you know what? Yeah, definitely. So, yep, he absolutely deserves his retirement now. Does Roy Hodgson and Dan Ashworth is the best saying, and is Southgate says Ashton. Yeah, hi Ashton, nice to see you. Not seen you on the channel for a while, mate. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, absolutely. More like retirement. Because Man U revenue is 1.6 billion a year. They make 700 million profit a year, so Man U could be bottom and still spend big. Which is why FFP is corrupt. Anti-competitive, yeah. Matt, hi, Tony and everyone. Hi, Matt. Hope you're well, mate. Derek says, because Man U's income is bigger than anyone else's. Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't get me words out there. Rory says, Ashworth's a guy that is very good at putting in systems and getting the best in people in. He brought in a lot of young players who we won't see for a few years. Man U can have him if they pay up. Definitely. Hope Tony Mowbray pulls through. We don't know what it is. He's off for 6 to 8 weeks, and apparently he can. He's still going to advise his management team, so they're still going to phone him up and things like that. So it might just be an operation he's going for or something. Nobody knows. It didn't say what it was. City's winning 1-0. Ashton says, if Cashworth is anything to do with how bad our medical have been this season, yeah. Justin says, sounds horrible, but Eddie's backing from 20% of this club in the UK owners, but PIF decide to make a change. So Eddie better start finding a way to win. BS says, we have loads of loyal players. Jeff Hendrick, Gillespie, etc. don't want to leave. They have to go in the summer. Man U are 1.2 billion in debt. Ace at Tapiri, but only women's push. Oh, Jesus, Ronald. Derek says the effect on our project will be negligible. Yeah. Half job, Cashworth. David said, I don't think it'll be long before the anti-competitive lawsuit hits the APL. Yeah. Tristan says, I'd let Ashworth stay on gardening leave until we sign our summer targets, so he can't pass on them. Yeah, good point. Be funny as if Man U won't pay up. Won't it just? Good thing about it is Eddie will be able to have a bigger role now with the transfer deals. Ashton says, can't imagine Man U not even paying with a higher price. They bought Anthony for like 90 million. Do you know what it is? Yeah, 90 million quid on a player who's probably not even good enough for the Premier League. He's poor. Absolutely poor. Man U pay £85 million for a wardrobe and £100 million for a fidget spinner, but don't have 20 million for a director of football. I love that coffee. Brilliant, that mate. The English Premier League powwow soon to discuss, giving the lower leagues 850 million. Lots of screaming and shouting expected. Absolutely, David. Is he on an uphill gardening leave? Lawrence says, you think Man U would sign them back and the Glazers had the fully gone the way some people are going on, not to mention them claiming he signed Bruno. Yeah, exactly. He never even signed Bruno, did he? You know? We know Carvey Solical always gets a hard on when it comes to Man United. Man U fans are clearly bothered. Wouldn't be going on about it as much if they weren't, absolutely. Also, Botman, even through the interest, was there in the same window we signed Bruno before he came in. Says, Newcastle fan, I don't care. I just believe it's a mess Man U around. We will mess Man U around. Go and sign a new one, just not Bournemouth one. Don't need an Eddie mate in charge. It makes no sense. No, I don't think that will happen. I'm not seething, I just think he's a twat, but that's as far as it goes. We move onwards and upwards. Do you know what? No one's bigger than the club, Derek. Nobody is bigger than the club, you know? So, and as I've always said, nobody's indispensable either. But it will be absolutely funny if Man U decide to pull out and Ashworth is stuck doing nothing for the next couple of years. That's his own fault because there is no way he has come back to the club. Because the owners won't trust him now. Danji said, I've got a magpie's nest in my tree that needs attending to. Where's Dan? Good luck, Roy Hodgson, for the future. Absolutely. He allegedly best in class, which is why Man U want him. Give me an elite coach over an elite director of football any day of the week. Absolutely. Carvey Solikal said the game's gone. We're asking 20 million for a director of football, and also asked what Jesse Lingard's got to do with Dan Ashworth. I mean, this Carvey Solikol, I can't stand the bloke. I really can't. He's all, he hates us. He hates Newcastle United. You can tell in these voices. He's obviously a Man United man, isn't he? So, look, and if he can't get the just why doesn't he go back to the Sky archives and say, can you just dig out them videos from Sky, the transfer show? And then he might see, oh, yes, that's where Man United were asking for the extra money for Lingard. Idiot. BS, I saw an article about Ashworth wanting Mark Way for Man United, but he was a target at Newcastle. Apparently he wants to read Chelsea for some players as well, doesn't he? Say I want Eminalo because built Chelsea youth system and the amount of world stars he found. Remember, he found Hazard, Salah, De Bruyne, Ake, Reece James, and loads of others. Tomori, he's the man. Yeah. Funny how much Man U fans really didn't want Ratcliffe before he came in. I know, it's hilarious, isn't it? I'm watching you while in my hot tub, says Lewis. Enjoy your hot tub, Lewis. Let Ashworth sit at home until 2026 if they don't pay what we want. Absolutely good energy, Jude. Cashworth should have a world-class garden by now. He should do, absolutely. If Eminalo comes in, don't be surprised if Hosey ends up here and great friends. I can't see that happening. Ashington says Carvey is as thick as a plank, doesn't even know what show he's on. Yeah. Everybody hates Newcastle because they think we're the next super team, but it's going to be a long time since from FFP, absolutely. And Lee says summer signings could be some good players out of contract, could pick up one or two good forwards. Jody Gaza says, I read Man U fans still entailed in like the 90s. Absolutely, Jody, absolutely. I mean, look, people who've been mentioned, I mean, Michael Edwards has been mentioned, Will he come to us? I'm not sure, because I know he does stuff for football, but he's got a business outside of football now, hasn't he? So I don't know. If he was to come in, we know he's a top bloke, what he's done for Liverpool. Other names in the frame like Michael Eminalo, was at Chelsea. He's now in charge of the Saudi League. Good friends with Yasser Al-Rumayyan. Could Yasser Al-Rumayyan tempt him to leave his job in Saudi and come to Newcastle as a director of football? Who knows? The reports are saying that we have spoken to an elite director of football who said he will join us at the drop of a hat. So that could be him. We don't know. Obviously, there's other names in the frame like Paul Mitchell, who was Monaco's previous sporting director, or Florian Maurice of Rennes as potential upgrades on Dan Ashworth. So there is a couple of others out there. There's quite a few out there that's being mentioned. I've seen people saying Eddie's going to get a contract with 2024, but then do we really know what he's got? Could it be the fact that Eddie's contract runs until for another year or so, or 2 years? But maybe in that contract it's reviewed at the end of the season of 2024. Who knows? Nobody knows. That's the thing. All we do know is when he was, before the start of the season, when we played Forest at home last season, he signed that new deal. So we don't know how long that deal was for, because that was never mentioned at all. So, I mean, look, there is directors of football out there who we could get. But again, it's going to be a slow process, because at the end of the day, we want to find the right man. Because the last thing we need is to go and rush an appointment and then find out, one, it's not working, and two, they might just bugger off. So we need to make sure the next appointment we get in is the right appointment for the club. There's other reports going around at the moment that apparently Steve Nixon's on dodgy ground as well, apparently. He could be the next one to leave Newcastle. If he does go, They want a new scouting by April, ready for the summer. So look, that's been rumbling on a bit about Steve Nixon. So again, could Steve Nixon be on his way out the door? Who knows? Remember, Steve Nixon's from the old regime. So again, we just have to wait and see what happens on that one. Whether Steve Nixon comes in, stays or he goes. But at the moment, nothing's concrete on that. That's only media talk. But the thing that is more concrete, the minute that we do know, is the Dan Ashworth situation. And we do know that he has asked to leave Newcastle United, which, like I say, it's disappointing, to be fair. It's absolutely disappointing. But there again, if he doesn't want to be here, then look, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Once he's take a player wants to say they don't want to be here, it's pointless playing them because they're just going to keep on. They're just not going to want to play all this. So you've got to get rid. And it's the same with the director of football as well. I mean, look more on what Darren Eales said as well. Look, he says, we are naturally disappointed that Dan has chosen to leave, but however, he says our exciting journey doesn't stop, and the process to recruit a new sporting director will begin immediately. So they are now looking for a new sporting director. And he says, we thank Dan for his efforts at Newcastle United and we wish him and his family well for the future. Well, I'm sorry. Look, what efforts has he done to Newcastle? Because I've not seen the efforts. I'm not seeing it. Yes, he might have brought a few players in, but did he get it massively wrong on Tonali? Maybe. But there again, sometimes if a player's got a gambling habit, you might not notice it. Nobody might have known about it, So again, it's one of them. Remember, things can be well hidden. Even Paul Merson has said the same. Ronald says Lewis just farting in the bath and it's a jacuzzi. Oh, Jesus, Ronald. I shouldn't say as Man U are more bothered about the situation than we are, and it doesn't need much attention to the media as it gets. It's very simple. You pay the fee or wait. Absolutely. Eminalo and Mancini's Saudi dream team at Newcastle, says Billy the Fish. Michael Edwards has made it clear that he's focused on his venture. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But there again, you never know. He may just be tempted. Ashton says there's no reason for us to do Man U any favours. Them going on about it is just trying to put pressure on us to give it to them. Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to. We'll play hardball, simple as. It would be great, but could end up getting some loan deals from Saudi. Tristan says, see the Rennes guy? Yes. But the man at PSG found all Monaco players, so Mitchell hasn't signed anyone there. Interesting. The internet states 2024 on every story that Eddie's contract ends this summer. Because we've not heard nothing to say that, obviously, if he's getting another new deal or what, or it's coming to an end. So I don't know what's going on with that one. I know originally when he joined, he signed an 18-month contract, which took him up till the end of 2024. So I don't know. Haaland's now scored against every Premier League team. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Would you bring back Cora as he wanted to sign Modric and other top signs? No, I wouldn't. No, definitely not. Don't want Alan Carr's dad back. Les Ferdinand for Scout. I couldn't believe Alan Carr was his son. Yeah. Well, I think it was on something Alan Carr did say that I think it was a Jonathan Ross or something he was on. He said, he said when his dad was scouted at Newcastle, he says he actually went with him to Holland to go and take in a game and watch a game of football because there was a couple of players that they were looking at. And Alan says he went along with his dad. And So yeah, so obviously Alan Carr used to travel with him to go and watch players. Yabba Dabba Doo. Hi Tony, hi mate, hope you're well. Tristan says, Tony, when the club signs a player, they go through the entire history and his personal health life because there's mental health issues that has to be checked. Sometimes things can be hidden, or Man U still think we're in the 90s. David says the Man U fans wanted all the money, which was a scam before. Being delighted to get Ratcliffe in on 25%. The Glazers are 75%. They were gutted when to get Ratcliffe. Well, yeah, absolutely. He didn't need to know about the gambling and all the other warning signs. Why are Milan selling their best player? Well, yeah, that sort of does ring alarm bells, doesn't it? When you think, well, why are they selling their best player for cheap? Who doesn't want to leave? And there's their captain, local lad. That's the thing. So obviously there was, but then that's where we should have thought, hang on, why are we getting them? Because originally everybody thought we were going for Nicolo Barella. How signed a new long-term contract? Yeah, I thought he did, yeah. Because that was before the Forest game was announced. Yeah, he did sign start of last season. Hope people don't start overhyping Eminano now. He did a nice job at Chelsea on unlimited funds, but no stars were found. De Bruyne, Salah were well known, and Hazard had just won the League with Lille. That's correct. Absolutely. I bet they shoved the twat out the door. I think it's disrespectful to see us what Dan Ashworth no loyalty these days. There is no loyalty, absolutely. As I say, there's not much loyalty in football. There's only you get the odd one-offs, like of Mark Noble and people like that. Also, Eminalo's stint at Monaco after Chelsea was an absolute disgrace and nearly got relegated. Watch Barella go to Man U, says David. I'm sure I read somewhere about Ineos sports washing in other sports due to bad rep. Something to do with the environment. Man U are probably for popularity. Man U think they love him, yeah, absolutely. And he says, but I didn't read too much into this. I don't know much of the details. Yeah, because he owns Ineos, doesn't he? Does Jim Ratcliffe. But look, whatever happens, we'll just wait and see. But I'm sure the club will find the right sporting director to help take the club forward. Dan Ashworth doesn't want to be part of the club, then sod you. That's it. You don't want to be part of this club, then off you go. You want people who want to be committed. As I said earlier on, Brighton have put their sporting director on garden leave also because of Chelsea. Rats in the name. Ratcliffe went to Chelsea before Man United. Yeah, he did. Ronald says a few of the Man U fans are citing Andy Cole and how his head was turned and we had to get rid. That was part of it. We got Shearer, who turned them doing absolutely. They forget that one. Zaniolo Lord Villa found out for the first gambling and then grassed up Tonali and others for a lenient non-charge. Yeah, it was him and Fagioli, wasn't it? Fagioli got 5 months taken off his 12 month, so he only has to serve 7. Ratcliffe's a lifelong Man U fan. City win, says Ronald. Radcliffe's a Chelsea fan, and Man City have won 1-0 as well. Yeah. Look, the end of the day, as I say, the club will look for the best sporting director. And if we've been talking to an elite one, then who knows who's coming through the door. But I'm sure we'll see in due course what is happening. Coffee says Ratcliffe's a season ticket holder at Chelsea. And so does BR as well. Interesting. As I say, if Ashworth doesn't want to be there, then that's fine. Let him go. Ashworth was not the owner's first choice, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Isn't that Brentford a director of football and Newcastle fan? Phil Giles, yes, apparently he's a very good director of football. But again, if we're being talking to an elite, I can't see it being him, to be fair, though. Onwards and upwards. Absolutely, Derek. Absolutely. Asherton says Ratcliffe gets no scrutiny with his company because of the club he's invested and because he's not an Arab. But yeah, Derek's absolutely spot on there. Onwards and upwards, definitely. You know, nobody's bigger than the club, and the club will strive on. I'd like to see Given in charge of the goalkeeping and recruiting, Rob Lee in charge of midfield, and Shearer in charge of striker recruitment, and Beresford in charge of defender recruitment. Do you know what? That's not a bad shout, that. No, Eminalo was our first choice back then, but he turned us down. Yes, he did, because he went and took that job at Saudi, didn't he, as well? So, anyways, doesn't matter. The whole Ashworth thing. We aren't daft. We will find the right person for the job. Not worried. Absolutely. Solano Colaccini Gutierrez in charge of South American recruitment. Do you know what? I like that. I like that. Yeah, that would be absolutely fine, wouldn't it? Foxy says Salah was scoring goals in the Champions League for Basel, winning titles. Yes, he was. De Bruyne played over 100 games for Genk. Even versus Chelsea in the Champions League, they were very known. And the thing is, Foxy, De Bruyne played for Genk. Where's Genk? Belgium. Oh, who doesn't like players from the Belgian league? Oh, let me think. Rowley says they're not very good from the Belgian league. Belgium, what a country. What a country. Coffee says, did Steve Bruce enjoy interesting South Korean job from kebabs to kimchi? Do you know what it is? That made my day. I couldn't believe when I saw that, and I just thought, you know what it is? If he goes there, he'll ruin Son. He'll ruin the whole Korean team. You'd be teaching instead of training for football matches, to be training on how to eat as many kebabs as possible. I don't think he'll get that job. I hope he doesn't. No spies, just dedicated legends giving fans what we want. Yeah, absolutely, Tanji. Steve Bruce will be disliking South Korea if he gets that. Ian says, Man U fans have just confirmed that Ratcliffe's completed his purchase of the shares and is now a part owner, according to Sky. There we go. That went through quick, didn't it? Rory says, the players can be good, but the league isn't. You know, Rory, we're just taking the mickey, mate. We're just taking the pee. From Jurgen Klinsmann to Steve Bruce, you cannot make that up. Alan Carr apparently likes a Belgian biscuit. Oh, Jesus Christ, Ronald. Can't believe you come out with that one, honestly. Oh my God. Other comments we've got, yeah. Tristan says Eminalo is an easy one to get. He works for PIF. Well, he works in the Saudi League. Foxy says, what a place, what a country. Absolutely, Foxy, aren't they? Isn't it? What a place. Exactly, mate. Exactly that. Ashton says, funny how quick it went through for the Man U. Absolutely. Doesn't Jim Ratcliffe have to do an owners and directors test? I think it's already been done. Rolly says, I love Belgium. I'm going there in April. There you go. Get some Belgian chocolates down yourself, Rolly. It's done. Not part of the owners, I don't know, because he hasn't got so much percentage. He's only got 25%, isn't it? I love Belgian chocolate. Tristan says no, because he's put down an investment. I thought was Schofield was scouted for new boys. Oh, Jesus, beer. Sorry, soul owner down phone. Only on this morning, beer. Yabba says, yeah, so quick for them to get a guy that owns 25% of Man U, but you can't fart as fast. Exactly. One thing I do want to say before we do wrap up the show is, look, today we heard some sad news. And yes, that sad news came this morning in the shape of the former German left-back, Andreas Brehme. What a player he was. What a left-back. One of the best left-backs I've ever seen play. I always remember that goal he scored against England in the semi-finals, the free kick. This guy was a serious left-back. And, that's the type of left-back we could do with at Newcastle. That Andreas Brehme type, because he was one hell of a left-back. So I say one of the best in the world at the time. Passed away, sadly, at the age of 63. His partner apparently confirmed he had a cardiac arrest. Look, I know England have a rivalry with Germany and things like that, but look, again, sad news to hear that a legend of the game has passed away. And all got to say to that is rest in peace, Andreas Brehme. You were a great left back of your time, absolutely. And and the world is sadly missed without you. Absolutely. The rumours that Ashworth will hire Steve Bruce as my new manager. That'd be funny. Best players from Belgium, absolutely, David. Definitely, mate. Good footballer, yeah. Julie says Andreas Brehme, the best left back that ever was. Rest in peace, absolutely. Yabba says rest in peace as well. Tanji, probably the best left back that ever played for Germany. Hell of a player, could score good goals. He could do. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Always remember him with Lothar Matthäus and Jurgen Klinsmann at Inter. Yeah. Shame RIP. Ratcliffe owns 27.5% shares. Wow. Ian says, great player, Brehme. Seen him in the World Cup 90. Some player, absolutely. Rennes have a Belgian left back we should be looking at, says Tristan. Wearing the Inter shirt tomorrow, I think. Ashworth will be wanting Southgate for Man U. Billy says England were unlucky not to win that German game in Italia 90. Germany's goal was a crap deflection off Paul Parker. Yeah, but if we had won that game, I believe we would have beat Argentina in that final. We would have smashed Argentina, because it would have been revenge for the 4 years earlier from the Maradona handball. But yeah, we would have absolutely took them apart. And that was Robson's team in that World Cup as well. Bobby Robson, the great Sir Bobby Robson. Anyway, guys, we're going to be wrapping up now. But if you do like what you're seeing, if you haven't yet smashed that like, then please do give it a like. It does help the channel. So if you don't mind just clicking that thumbs up, that would be fantastic. If you're also brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe and be part of this great community. And also hitting that bell notification. That tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. So there will be some shows coming up this week. There'll be the preview for the Arsenal game. As I say, I'm going to do a preview next week when I'm away. I'll be abroad, so I'll be doing the preview for the Blackburn game. So I've just got to remember I'm an hour ahead of the UK, so I'll have to work that one out. But that shouldn't take a lot of working out. But I'm just going to go through some final comments before we head off. See you later, Tony. Cheers. I shouldn't see you again, mate. Nice to see you back on the channel, mate. Frank on X with Southgate to Man U. Bye, Tony Noel. Bye, coffee. Great show, Tony. Cheers, Ian. Thank you. Julie says it. I will no doubt have a minute's silence. Brehme was a legend for them. Yeah, absolutely. Been a great show tonight, Tony and everyone. Big thumbs up. Cheers, Lee. Thank you. Southgate to Man U means Henderson signing soon. Was it Kaiserslautern before that? Inter are playing now versus Madrid. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. You too, Julie. Yeah, guys. One thing I am going to say, I want to sort it out, and then we'll put a link in the chat. But what I'm going to do is going to have a WhatsApp group as well for the black. It's all black and white TV. So if anybody wants to join the WhatsApp group, then you'd be more than welcome. But once I set that up, I will put a link in the chat for that, so people can come on and join it. So there you go. All that leaves me to say is, remember, the future is bright. The future is definitely black and white. Nobody's indispensable. Nobody's bigger than the football club. Dan Ashworth's no bigger than the football club. He's just a small cog in the big wheel. So, you know, you needn't think because he's off to Man, he wants to leave, that he's some big I am, because he's not. Because he'll never be bigger than Newcastle United. Nobody is, and nobody's indispensable. How are you, the lads, says Ronald. Ashworth is a big blade of grass on our pitch. Absolutely. Exactly. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of the evening, whatever you're doing. Till then, how are you, the lads?